All right. What's happening? Just wanted to discuss some things real quick. Like, gonna go ahead and get this thing started. Hold on. Let me get on this channel and so I can get on with the chat and all. Okay. All right. Good. So I'll let that hang out there so I can interact a little bit. Okay. So real quick, just wanted to go over some things. I mean, I haven't gotten into this stuff for a little while, so I feel like I'm kind of overdue for a little flat earth rant right here. So I'll go ahead and get this thing started. Say what's up to Conan 68, Jose Gonzalez, what's up? Carrie Musgrave, the great. What's up, Roy? James Barrett, DR Lee, Cindy Pritchard, Holly Hughes. What's up, everybody? Yeah, just sharing some thoughts, What's up, Just Jack? All right. Jeannie Bean, what's happening? Stephanie. All right, so look. The thing that bugs me a lot of times in dealing with the global believers is that they seem to forget that we were global believers too. I was a global believer. I mean, we all were. I used to be like super into space. The idea of, getting up, going to another planet, that was cool to me, that whole idea. I used to have these, space cadet fanboy ideas about, having enough money to go to another planet, because I always felt like Earth was screwed ultimately because of the people who were in charge and the way that things are ran. So the idea that one could be frozen cryogenically, and then, once technology had caught up to the necessities of the society and the system of the world that we've, created around ourselves, where things have gotten so bad that there are just these little colonies, and there were these special people who had paid for the cryogenic treatment to be thawed out when it's time to go to another planet. I used to think about that every now and then. I used to fantasize about being one of those people that could go do that. That's where it was a long time ago. That space propaganda, that was cool to me. That whole idea, and that was just a few years ago that I was into that. So let me share with you my former I would say my former favorite globe propaganda video. I used to watch this all the time. And it was called The Known Universe. So here, let me show you how this whole thing goes, and I'll try to remain neutral while I'm talking my way through this thing. This film shows the known universe is mapped through astronomical observations. Every satellite, moon, planet, star, and galaxy is represented to scale in its correct measured location according to the best scientific research to date. The data is maintained and curated by research astrophysicists at the American Museum of Natural History and something else. And this is the Himalayas. Now we can see all of Tibet, and you can already see the curvature. Wow. We continue on further out, where we can see the whole city, the whole country. But even then, looking at this, you notice that it kind of contoured the curvature around that. Like it just kind of shrunk in from where it was at. But this is what I used to believe. This type of stuff. And it never crossed my mind to ask whether or not this was all CGI. I would just stare at this in awe. I remember there was one time that I brought this video and showed my parents back in Arkansas. I was just like, check this out. Oh man, look at that. And then I'm like, yeah, they mapped out all this stuff. You see, they got all the, all the connecting lines and all that, showing all the orbits. Yeah, now we're so far away that we can't see Earth anymore. Now we can see the orbits of the planets. You see? Yeah, that's it. Yep, right there. That's our solar system. Yeah, we've mapped all this stuff out. All the stars off in the distance, all that good stuff. Yep, those are our constellations. Oh yeah, that's the sun's true brightness. That at this distance, because we suddenly couldn't see the sun's true brightness from any closer than that. So we just continue out. Oh, look, wait, hold on. It's another sphere. Never even crossed my mind, but you see how they just wove that back in there. Ain't that something? And we just continue on out. Nearby galaxies, because they mapped all this stuff out. Because they have the technology. The galaxies that we've mapped so far. Now we're 100 million years away from the center. Yep, they mapped out all those. All that. All those billions of years away from our tiny little speck of a planet. Yep. Oh my gosh. You guys didn't even know about the light from a younger universe out there. The afterglow of the Big Bang. 1.37 billion years. And as far as you can get out to our cosmic horizon in space, they put us in another sphere. Yep. Now let's go back. Let's go all the way back. Head back home. Back to the present. Back to our home. I used to watch this in awe. Like, wow, there are so many other worlds out there. So many other planets that we could go to. So much possibility out in space. The opportunities are endless in space, man. That was awesome. Oh, wow. Man, we can fly back in there. Man, it's like it's all happening in real time. That's so cool. I used to be super into this stuff, guys. I was into it. I thought this stuff was real. And here we are, back to our solar system. Didn't even think about the, all the orbits. This is what we've mapped out in 3D. Way out there. Isn't that awesome? And then we go back to our Earth. Our tiny blue dot. There it is. Our perfect spinning ball. Yep. Don't you feel small when you see that? See all that curvature? Yeah. Yep, there it is. Yeah, let's zoom right back into where we were. Because this is the exact terrain features, right? This is all legit, right? Yeah, obviously, because they've mapped words, flat Earth. I had never even considered that stuff that I had just watched, zooming away from the Himalayas, from the solar system, from the galaxy, from inside one sphere to another sphere. I had never even considered it. Now, hold on. Let's see what happens. Just going to give it a sec. Got to adjust the bandwidth a little bit. I'll adjust it downward. Just a little. Waiting to see if this thing comes back on. Are we good? Are we good? What's happening? Okay. All right. I see on the display we're back. Good, 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 good. Hi, everybody. We're back. So look, I used to think that was real. All that CGI. I never even considered that. But the other day I saw something. I saw something on MSN because some like I'm at work and from time to time I'll just take a break and I'll get onto MSN just to check to see what's going on in the mainstream. Just trying to see what's going on, what they're talking about as far as the political theater, the bread and circus, the fiat currency system, all that. I'm just trying to again. So I see this one article, and it shows what looks like a large body of water. It is a large body of water, and over that large body of water there is a bridge, and it's an aerial shot. Looks like it was a drone, few hundred feet in the air, and you could see the bridge over the water was just a few feet above the water. It was flat and level, the bridge over the water, and it goes off in one direction, and as it goes off over there you can see the horizon going flat in the other direction. When I saw that picture of that, I got irritated. Honestly, I became irritated because it's 2018 and there are people right now who we have to argue with about whether or not water is level. We have to explain to adults that water in large quantity has a surface that is level, that is flat. Like if you go to a beach in Hawaii, as far as you can see, the surface of the ocean is flat. But people believe that the earth is so small that you can't see any curvature out in the distance. Although when you look out front, you see boats going over the curvature, which is odd. But you look left to right, you see hundreds of miles, maybe even at least dozens of miles from left to right, and you don't see any curvature. There's no noticeable curvature from anywhere that you can see standing next to a body of water on Earth, period. And yet we've all been dumbed down, fluoridated, to where most people have been brainwashed into actually believing this. And that's just ridiculous. And this is when people say gravity. Of course, they're going to say gravity because that's what they have to believe in. Gravity is the glue that holds this whole lot together. Always has been. So if you believe in gravity, then that means that you believe that the Earth is a globe and you're at some crazy angle other than 90 degrees as you experience. And on the underside of the globe, from where you are relatively on Earth, water is sticking to the bottom of a ball. Now, you're saying that because you consider the idea that gravity behaves the same way on Earth as it does out in space. Because we're told that out in space, everything has been shaped into a sphere. And that since everything out in space is a sphere, that means that Earth is a sphere also, which is why water is able to contour to the bottom of the globe. So that would mean that gravity supposedly works the same way on Earth that it does out in space to some degree. But here on Earth, the way that things work out is that they say that gravity affects things in that it is pulling things towards the center of mass, because that's what gravity is supposed to do. Gravity is the force that pulls things to the center of mass. Yeah, okay. So when you drop something, that's gravity pulling it down, although you don't feel anything pulling you down. It's just the fact that things are heavier than the air around them. But okay, let's go with that. So here on Earth, gravity is causing everything to be pulled towards the center of mass, but out in space, gravity has the power to turn everything into a sphere and only causes one body of mass to orbit around another out in space. Because, I mean, if gravity were that way, at some point, there would just be like, there would be few bodies out in space, because the one large mass will be pulling everything towards it constantly out in space, if that were the case of this situation. But that doesn't seem to be what's going on. So it's like out in space, gravity's just making things orbit. Out here on Earth, everything's being pulled towards the center of mass. But let's consider that gravity actually behaved out in space to actually pull things together. Okay, if it's gravity is the larger body is attracting the smaller body. Okay, so let's play with the Earth and the Moon. Let's do that real quick. Let's talk about the Earth and the Moon. Now, gravity on Earth, and I just looked up something real quick, like, things fall. We're told that it's because of gravity. So let's look at some of the fastest ways that things can fall towards the Earth. I looked up a site on skydiving, and the terminal velocity that they spoke of there was basically in a stable belly of the Earth's position. Terminal velocity is about 120 miles per hour. Okay, in stable free fall, head down position has a terminal speed of around 152 to 180 miles per hour. But if you reduce the drag completely, you're just face down, body's contoured, feet together, no drag, you can get up to 300 miles per hour heading back to the surface of the Earth, being pulled down by the force of gravity. Okay. Now, so from what I read there, the slowest speed that you would jump out of a plane, if you're just high enough, and you're falling at 120 miles per hour at the slowest. Okay, so let's say that the Earth were actually behaving out in space as far as its gravitational pull, the way that it acts on Earth. What if the Moon, being that the Moon is in the Earth's gravitational pull, right? Because the Moon is orbiting around the Earth still, and it must still be in the Earth's gravitational pull, because pull insinuates that it's being pulled towards it. So being that the Moon is still in the Earth's gravitational pull, the Moon is 239,000 miles away. Now, in order to travel from Earth to the Moon at 120 miles per hour, it would take 1,991.66 hours to get from the Earth to the moon. Now, let's break that down into days. Now, divide that by 24, and that's 82.98 days to travel from the Earth to the moon if you're going 120 miles per hour. But since the Earth is the thing that's supposed to be pulling things towards it because of its gravity, then that would mean the moon should slam into the Earth at some point in like 82 days if it were to actually start moving towards the Earth. Okay, let's slow it down. Let's slow it down then. Let's say that the moon would only be accelerating back towards the Earth at 60 miles per hour. So 239,000 divided by 60. All right, that gives us 39 or 3,966.66 hours in order to travel from the moon to the Earth at 60 miles per hour. Divide that by 24. Okay, and that's going to give us 165.97 days, about 5.5 months to get from here to there, or from the moon slamming into the Earth because of the Earth's gravitational pull. Now, if we slice it again and say 30 miles per hour, that's basically 331.94 days. How long has the moon been 239,000 miles away? You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of just considering these things. Like, how far away is that? Why is the moon not slamming into the Earth? Isn't it supposed to be? Isn't it supposed to be coming back this way? No. And then I got on and I just looked into that, and actually what they say is that in actuality, thank you, Marcus Montez. I appreciate you. What they say in actuality is that no, the moon isn't getting closer to the Earth. In fact, the moon is moving 1.5 inches further away from the Earth every year. So here's the story of the moon. Billions and billions of years ago, when the Earth was still cooling, after the Big Bang. Okay, this giant rock, boom, slammed into the Earth, broke off, and formed the moon. The Earth went on to continue, forming itself into the perfect sphere that it is, and water came up, and it was a billion-year process and all that. And the moon, it didn't so much, escape. Whatever hit it must have hit it really slow, because it's taken so long for the moon to escape Earth's gravitational pull out in space, some way or another. And then, while it was in the Earth's gravitational pull, the moon itself that broke off from the Earth as a result of this impact, it formed itself into a perfect sphere that never spins, because we only see that one side of the moon. And that moon has been slowly moving away from Earth 1.5 inch every year. And they believe it. Here, let me try to tell you. Let me try to tell you why they need the millions and billions. Let me break this down for you. They got to give you the millions and billions. This happened billions of years ago. Well, the moon is moving away from the Earth, but it will be imperceptible. And by the time you're gone, you're long gone, you won't even notice that the moon continued doing its regular 28-day cycle. Because your life that's your life. In the span of millions and billions of years, that's you in the middle of there. They need the millions and billions because they can tell you stuff that happened so long ago that you can't fathom it. And then while you're here, it lulls you into a false sense of security because they're saying that nothing too serious is going to happen until it's way out there, billions of years into the future. They're like, yeah, but we're eventually going to lose our moon in 4.5 billion years. You're going to be gone by then. So what it is in this time span of your life, while they're giving you the millions and billions, everything is in a position during your lifetime to where you look up and it is imperceptible that anything is changing. That is why they need the millions and billions. Because if everything is moving in such infinitesimal, incremental movements that it is imperceptible that anything is moving out there while you're living, you're never going to ask a question about it because it's already programmed into you that you're not going to notice that the moon's getting further away. You're not going to notice whether the sun's going further away or getting closer away because it takes billions of years to do it, and you're not going to live billions of years. And they could get, and if they get all of us to continue believing that nonsense, they could get away with that for millions of years if everybody continues believing that. You get it? Thank you, Molly Lassiter. And Miss China. I appreciate you. This is the big deception. You're going to go your whole life thinking that the reason why you don't notice any of this stuff going on is because it's going to take millions and billions of years to do it. How you know? You're going to be long gone, so don't even worry about it. People that are smarter than you figure that out. So you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to think about any of that stuff. Don't you worry yourself with all that stuff. We already got that figured out. You just live your life and you watch your TV and you entertain yourself and you follow your football team and you follow this celebrity and you catch up on these movies and you listen to this music and you do this and you do that and we keep you busy and you work your job and you get into this political ideology and you fall into this societal trap and you do this and you get into that snare. This mental dungeon, this mental cage, we're all running around in the matrix, got no idea what the heck's going on because we're kept so busy that we don't have time to think. Thank you, NASA CGI Snakes. You think about that? That's craziness. I was considering this earlier, like, are you kidding me? People still believe this. People still believe this stuff. And folks will say, well, I mean, of course, all this stuff has been mapped out. It's all been mapped out. Every time some civilian agency, every time some group of students, every time somebody sends up a rocket that gets hundreds of thousands of feet into the air and they see a flat horizon, every time students send a balloon up and they all see a flat horizon and that's what's shown. Oh no, you're not high enough. The only people on Earth that can get high enough to see the curvature, the obvious curvature of the Earth, is these space agencies. So it's all secondhand information. We have to believe them. We have to trust them that they're telling us the truth. You have to believe in these known liars. You have to believe that they put a man on the moon when it's been said so many times that they can't get through the Van Allen radiation belt, that they can't get beyond low Earth orbit. It's been said so many times. You have to believe that the curvature that's being shown from the ISS is legit. Although there was that storm a few weeks ago, there was Hurricane Florence, and NASA supposedly took a good view of the storm in its entirety. And they put up this picture with the curvature. And then flat earthers, geniuses, take that picture, superimpose it onto the globe and say, that curvature's off. That curvature's off. What's going on here? We pick up on this stuff. We pick up on this stuff, man. So I really don't understand. I really don't get it. You know, it's the brainwashing. It's the aspect of brainwashing that's taking place to get people to believe in this nonsense. And it's enough is enough. Enough is enough, man. Like, seriously. When does it just not make any sense anymore? They got all these stars mapped out with what? How many satellites do they have out there? Millions and billions of miles out of light years out here, beaming back to us these crystal clear high def images from millions of miles away while we're orbiting around the sun, while the sun's traveling in this direction, while the whole galaxy's going. We're going a million miles in 4 or 5 different directions, and we're supposedly getting back crystal clear shots beamed back to Earth from millions of miles away from thousands of satellites out there. And that's how we mapped everything? You think so? You really think so? Really? I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems unlikely to me. Robin Harris, I appreciate you. John Liv, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. We got all these high speed pictures from way out there from all these satellites. Like, come on, man. Come on. It's just hilarious. It's just hilarious that, you know, people still take this stuff seriously. But I was there. I started off by showing you what I was into. Dude, I'm telling you, I went home, went back to Arkansas, showed my stepmom. I'm like, hey, check this out. When I was look, I was always like, hey, I would go back and try to blow their mind with something new. And then when I came into Flat Earth, I started making these small, short videos just to convey points. That's how I got started, actually. Got into Flat Earth, and I started making videos on Flat Earth so I could show my family, so I could show my relatives. I want to show Pops this little 3.5-minute video. Keep it real short. Keep it on one point. Show my sister. Hey, check this out. Just pull her aside when nobody's around. Hey, watch this. Show my brother-in-law. Hey, man, come here. Let me show you something. My dude, Nathan. You know, I used to do that. That's how I got started. You can check my Facebook page. I still got a couple of those short videos. There was one about the Bible, the sun, moon, stars, something like that. I believe there was another one. I can't think. Well, let me see. It was about the distance of the sun, something like that. I mean, it was the one where the pilot was flying at like 38,000 feet, and off to the moon, off to the right he can see the moon, and then he pans the camera around, and on the left he can see the sun. That was one of the craziest videos that I had seen at that time, and I had to show my pops that, man. I was like, hey, check this out. Why is this dude flying between night and day? What's that about? I couldn't really articulate. I'm like, do you see this? That's crazy. And then there was that one where the guy took the video from the cruise ship, where he was talking about how, okay, it's night on the one side, they get out on the balcony or whatever, and then they pan the camera around and you can see the sun coming up over the ocean and all. I mean, we've all seen these. But that's where I got started, just watching those things. And I started by making these videos just to show my family. So that's how you could share the stuff too, you know, with new people. I mean, just get started. If you have a MacBook, you got iMovie, play with that. Take a couple videos that you like, figure out how to put some text in there, maybe a little music. It's not that hard. You can do that. Yeah, I'm kind of an not introvert, but I just don't like doing a lot of talking in front of groups all the time. Um, but if I can show somebody one on one this whole flat Earth thing, I got files on my laptop. I can sit down and chat with anybody because I got my files all lined up. I got my gravity file. I got my curve file. I got my space file, my sun, my moon. This is closer, all that. I got my files laid out so I can sit down and I can chat with anybody. And after a while, they're like, I want to know more. It happens more often than not. I'll convert somebody on the spot, just like that. Just like that. Just by showing them some just simple stuff. So I just wanted to share those thoughts with everybody. I mean, seriously, it's nuts. It's nuts how we discuss these things with these folks, and just the idea, the idea of being trolled by an adult who can't grasp the concept that water doesn't bend around a ball. You have to have faith. It's a cult. It's the heliocentric cult because you have to believe in a bunch of stuff that you can't verify for yourself, that you haven't experienced for yourself. You have to abandon your five senses. You have to disconnect from your senses. You cannot be grounded in reality and believe that you are on a spinning ball because you perceive absolutely no movement. You can't believe that you're grounded in reality and that you think that the earth is a globe because you don't see any curvature. You just have to be real with yourself. I don't see any curvature. I guess it's flat. That's about as simple as it gets. But people hate that in this society because you have to be complex in order to be accepted in these things, in order for concepts to be put across to people properly. They have to be complex and convoluted. And that's what's accepted. If it's simple, that the concept of simple has become synonymous with stupid, dumb, slow-minded, some way or another. That's not the case. Simple. Why exactly would we be put here and we're not each given the faculties to understand where we are? This is why we have to be told that we live on a globe. This is why we have to be told that the earth is orbiting around the sun. We have to be told this stuff because if we were left to our own devices, I guarantee you that tribal people, these tribes that have not been infiltrated by society, haven't been colonized and all that, haven't had the civilization pushed upon them. These people still out in the woods, in the forests, in the jungles, living to themselves. They know that the earth is still, that it's motionless. They know that the stars are the thing that's moving, just like the ancients used to know. The ancestors knew that because there wasn't so much light pollution. But anyway, I was about to rant for real. But anyway, look, gonna go ahead and cut this one short. Gonna get out of here and let you all have a good night. And yeah, I don't want to make this thing entirely too long. So just wanted to snap off a little bit. I'll be back tomorrow to chat with you all with Vegan Warrior, hopefully. I know my man's been active this week, and it's all good. It's all good. So I'll go ahead and cut this one off. Say goodnight to Trinity 4, Johnny Live, Joey Sylvie, C Flower Deacon, Sean Becker, Loco Tomo, Zoom Truth in the house, Steve Watson, XX Warrior, Jackson, Braun Blackwater, The Sute, all people, free people. What's up, Dave? Stephanie, Joy, my man Sam Smith, AS. All right, Miss Deborah, Flat Out Elected. Mr. Rand Campbell's in the house. Subscribe to Flat Out Elected. Subscribe to Gina Genesis. How you doing, Gina? My man Joey Sylvie's in the house. Wolverine 314. Serrata Infinity X. All right. Let me cut this thing out. All right, folks. That's all I got for you. Have a good night, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Be good to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay flat. See you next time. Thank you.